Trump called for a ceasefire earlier this week, which you have said you believe is in part because of this pressure that's been coming both from Congress and also from his own base. And but he was very unhappy in the immediately after he called for that ceasefire when Israel and Iran continued to lob missiles at each other. I want to just roll that clip for a moment.
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement, the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you have a response to Iran?
Obviously, a lot of frustration being expressed there. What do you make of what's going on here?
Putting aside his colorful language, I'm glad that he actually stood up and said, stop bombing to both Netanyahu and to Iran. And I support the ceasefire. And I'm hoping that he will tell Netanyahu to stop bombing in Gaza, too. I mean, there's huge humanitarian concerns there. The aid isn't getting in. Palestinians are, as they go to these aid sites, the Gaza Foundation, the humanitarian foundation, many are getting shot. And so Trump, good for him for saying to stop the bombing. And I hope he'll tell him, Netanyahu to stop the bombing in Gaza as well.
Do you think that, like, how much influence do you think Trump actually has over that situation? Because now we're just seeing this. There seems it was unclear how this even transpired from the get go, like whether Trump explicitly approved the initial strike on Iran or if Netanyahu kind of just went ahead and then Trump jumped on board afterwards. Like, do you have a sense of, I don't know, who's driving the ship at this point?
Well, we are the superpower. The question is just whether we choose to exercise our power. When he did, with that angry clip, you saw Netanyahu backed away right away and didn't engage in the escalation that was reported they were planning on. Literally an hour after he made that statement, there was a statement came out saying Netanyahu and Israel agrees to the ceasefire, isn't going to retaliate. He's authorized $14 billion of sales since he's been president to Israel. They are dependent on the United States. If he tells them to stop, they will stop, as we just saw. I mean, this was a clear example. And the question is not who calls the shots; it's whether Donald Trump wants to spend his political capital or make a decision to tell Netanyahu to stop. And I hope he will.
Yeah, it seems like you're advocating for Trump to use a little bit more of his influence with Netanyahu and to possibly take a little bit of a tougher approach with him. What specifically does that look like to you?
Well, it says that he needs to tell Netanyahu stop the bombing in Gaza. He needs to, at the same time, demand clearly the hostage release. I think he can get the hostages, and then he should convene a Middle East peace summit. I mean, he's so fixated on winning the Nobel Prize and bring the Saudis, bring Egypt, bring Jordan, bring UAE, bring people from Palestinian civil society and Israel, and to say, look, we're going to have a non-Hamas government in Palestine and Gaza. It's going to need the protection and troops from some of the surrounding Arab countries so that Hamas doesn't infiltrate again. And that government needs to recognize the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish democratic state, and Israel needs to recognize the new Palestinian state. I believe that is achievable, especially given that he does have decent relationships with some of the other Arab countries. But he has to be willing to first get the bombing to stop and the hostages released. I believe he can do that.